Boys and girls, it is Sunday, the 11th of April. We are here. We're going to do members only, free to the public today. If you can, slide that finger over to the thumbs up button. It is much appreciated. We got weekly passes. We got monthly memberships, all available to the website link below. Take advantage, guys. We got double sports going right now. Let's talk about today's MLB slate, and we will go from there.
It's a big one today.
Well, it's about to be smaller probably, though.
Oh, yeah, we got weather concerns.
Yeah, so it kind of looks like East Coast ain't looking so hot. At this point, when they're red-orange like this, I'm just going to cross off them from evaluation for right now. And if you want to play them and get ballsy, sure, go ahead and do it. But I wouldn't touch pitching from these games.
I agree, and I'm with you. There's so many spots I don't really think you need to get different. You need to hit these spots at all.
All right. As far as pitching goes today, then, Stroman is projected to be popular, but that's going to go away, right? Once everybody, factors in the weather, those ownership projections will go away. The chalk pitcher for the day, and I want to talk about this one with you right away, is going to be Mr. Ponce de Leon of the St. Louis Cardinals going up against my Milwaukee Brewers. He's coming in as big-time chalk. The right move is to play him in cash games. He's a good strikeout pitcher. For a good portion of the year, Milwaukee's looked really, really bad offensively. I will say they got it going, though, yesterday. Avi Garcia with 2 monster rocket shots. Keston Hiura with 4 balls over 100-mile-an-hour exit velo. Christian Yelich is looking good. Narvaez is looking good. I'm intrigued by the GPP fade, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even really understand it. I don't understand why he's so popular.
Cheap, high strikeout team, high strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I don't think it's the worst play in the world, but 50% ownership, I mean, I just don't get it. I don't understand it.
This is one of those plays where I think ownership really comes into play in baseball, right? I don't think I understand it too. However, watching the entirety of the last couple games, Milwaukee, I know you almost wanted to stack them yesterday, but you were concerned about the weather. They were showing buying signs of getting their offense going. They had hit a lot of hard hit balls right at people. And then yesterday they scored a bunch of runs. They look confident. They look good. I'm super intrigued by the GPP fade. He's got real upside. They stretched him out to 93 pitches in one.
I think it's most things we talk about. You don't have to fade him in GPPs. If you like him, do your thing. Yeah. I mean, pitching is definitely a place where you can just ride chalk. That said, I don't know, man. I understand it just in the sense that, we don't have really good pitching options today, and some of the guys are expensive. I mean, Mike Minor, 9,400 against the White Sox. That's wild. So you've got a lot of options that you're not going to feel great about. Yeah, He's my favorite of those options, though.
What's that?
He's not my favorite of those options. I get the price tag. I wasn't really looking at him too hard without even knowing ownership.
I'll put it this way. If I had been watching the Brewers, and this was 3 days ago, and they couldn't hit anything, I would be more excited about playing him. But today, when you're telling me he's overwhelming chalk, or at least that's how – actually, he might even be chalkier once they take out, the Stroman plays and stuff like that. He does have 131 Ks and 119 innings at the professional level. He's been a solid pitcher. Milwaukee's a K-heavy team. I understand it, but having watched the Brewers play very well, yesterday – Keston Hiura was all over everything. When you watch a guy hit the ball hard, you're like, he's going to homer within his next couple of at-bats. Then he hits a monster shot yesterday. It was so predictable.
For sure. No doubt about it. Yeah, man. He's also really cheap, like you mentioned. So,
yeah, you could.
No, on Line Star, only one pitcher's projection over 16 PK points. Shoemaker and Stroman are the only 2 over 15. So, that says all you need to know.
Okay, well, let's talk about Shoemaker then. Kind of an up-and-down career, right? If you see had moments where he's looked like an emerging ace and moments where it's man, let's stack the hell out of this guy.
Yeah, for sure. Not sure what to expect from him here, to be quite honest.
I think he'll get some love today. He looks like a guy who's getting decent projections today, sub 7K. We know the Seattle offense is less than stellar. He looks like a solid play to me. I forecast him for 18 points or something like that. It's a solid ho-hum play. I don't think you need him. But I also think he's I don't think he's going to get blown up. We know Seattle's not the greatest team in the history of baseball.
I mean, Line Star has him as the highest projected player on the slate. That he's 6,900. So, yeah, I get it. He looks very similar to Ponce de Leon to me. I actually like Shoemaker slightly more. The guy that I'm going to be going back to, though, man, like
I already know what you're going to say.
I think the Tigers are bad, and I think Logan Allen is actually good. So, like, I'm going to go back to Logan Allen here. And I understand he's too expensive. He wasn't great in his first start, but most pitchers on this slate are too expensive. And I like him here, man. I mean, all things considered.
I know you said he looked really good in the spring. He was very blah in his first start, right? Like nothing special, nothing terrible.
Especially early. He struggled early.
Okay. A lot of guys struggled early, so I understand that one. Here's a question for you. You think anybody's going to spend the money on Jordan Montgomery, who was brilliant in his first start?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's hard to.
I agree. Tampa looks a lot better the last couple of days. He's really expensive. And I think the thing that turns me off the most, I think they pulled him after 73 pitches. He was awesome, but Baltimore, very strikeout heavy. It's too much for me. I think he could be good again, but it's too much for me.
He's got no business being 10K. It's just, he just doesn't.
I agree. Tampa Bay will strike out, but their offense has looked a lot better the last couple of days. Or Rosarina looks locked in all of a sudden. I can't do it.
No. And I feel similarly about Minor.
Yeah, not lefty against the White Sox. No thanks.
No.
Okay, the guy I could be talked into would be Trevor Williams. So I watched his first start against the Brewers. Part of this was bad Milwaukee, as they were awful to start the year. He goes up against his old team, great pitching park. They were also talking about him really working on another pitch throughout the offseason and how they expected a much better year from him. He looked really good in his first start, only gave up 2 hits. The strikeout pitch seemed to be a little bit more viable than normal. I don't think it's a great play, but we know the Pirates' offense is not a bad one at all. So I'm fine with it. Not a love scenario or anything like that, though.
Yeah, I actually am fine with both pitchers in this game. I don't mind, the Cubs have been a little bit better, but I think this Brubaker has good stuff. And
he's getting some love today, too.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt he'll be like chalk, to be honest. I just can't see it. But I'm sure he'll get a little love because everyone will get a little love. He's in my, he's on my short list. He's got a long leash. I think he's solid enough. I feel similar about him as you do Williams, and I feel about Williams as I do him. So I feel like I could use both pitchers from this game.
I get that. Oh, also Pittsburgh got wins in 15, a bit in from right, a bit right to left. So, I mean, that's not a major decision maker, but it's not blown out today. And we know Pittsburgh's a great place to pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and the Cubs lineup has power, but they got a lot of strikeouts, and when they're not hitting well, I mean, they're not good.
Okay. And then a couple other guys I'd like to discuss really, really quickly. Also really cheap, coming in with real low ownership against the team that leads the league in strikeouts by a full K per 9 right now. Nick Pivetta. I know he just faced – oh, no, he didn't. He faced Tampa. He went 92 pitches. We've seen Pivetta all over the place throughout his career. He's another one of these guys who's had some really good starts for a while and has had some issues getting out of the first inning before a few times. So he's not getting a lot of love today. I don't mind getting up here at all if you're trying to be a little different in GPPs. I wouldn't be shocked to see him as a top 4 scoring pitcher today.
I agree. We kind of liked him in that start against Tampa. And he was good. Yeah, I think you're 100% right on it. I feel weird about it, but I don't know why.
Yeah, and it's not going to be an issue to make lineups. Like going with like a Pivetta over Ponce de Leon, like that $900 is relatively meaningless when offensive guys are still priced the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the last guy, I think like GPP dart throw. Not a guy I would play in the cash game. Not a guy I would play if I only played in one lineup. High strikeout Mike Fultonevich.
Did you watch a lot of this start against Toronto?
No, I didn't watch any of this, dude.
I watched all of it, and man, he had so many 2-strike pitches fouled off. He threw so many pitches in the first inning. It was teetering. He was at 35 with a full count on a guy, and he was they were warming someone up. If he had walked that guy, they would have brought someone else in just because of how many pitches he had thrown. Settled down a little bit. Saw he gave up a couple hard hit balls, but man, he really got hurt by weak foul balls, guys, fighting off pitches. His pitch count grew astronomically. I can definitely get on board with this.
He's coming in with no ownership today, and I don't know how many guys on this slate have been all-stars before, but he has. In fact, I would say I don't know if any other pitcher on this slate has ever been an all-star. Maybe Stroman. possibly Waka 30 fucking years ago.
Maybe minor.
Maybe that 1 year, yeah. But Mike Foltynewicz has been an all-star. He's been, I believe, finished in the top 5 of Cy Young before, at least top 10 for sure. This guy's got high strikeout stuff. He had been dealing with some injuries. He had a terrible, terrible COVID season. Things did not go his way at all. He's a high strikeout guy. And San Diego, I mean, they're still pretty good, but without Tatis, they're not nearly as good as they were at the start of the year.
I'm so sold. Like,
okay.
100% sold. And I love the also thing I love, like he wasn't even great last time out. They let him throw 95 pitches.
Yeah, he went 95. He's stretched out, right? And this is a guy who's been good. I don't know if it'll be today, but at some point of the year, Mike Foltynewicz will, in my eyes, I expect him to be a good pitcher again. Not great, but good.
I don't know about that, but I think he'll show flashes at times.
Okay. I mean, for me, good too just means like you're above average. I'm not saying you're going to be.
Stay in the Rangers rotation if he doesn't, like if he has a couple bad starts. So I'm not willing to go that far.
Okay, understandable. So I like it as a GPP play. He's going to probably be 1/20th of the ownership of Ponce de Leon.
Yeah, I mean, I like it a lot.
So it's an intriguing pivot. All right.
I think he has Ponce de Leon here.
I like it. I'm on board. So for those of you who haven't heard us talk this way, and when it comes down to baseball, these guys are basically the same price. So let's just say they're the same. Do you think that if they each made this start 100 times, that Ponce de Leon would, outscore him 95 times? Because I don't. But that's the way like the ownership percentages break out.
Not even a chance.
Okay. And when the way pitching works out, like if Foltynewicz gets you 19 and Ponce de Leon gets, hit by the newly hot Brewers, like that's a big difference maker.
For sure. Definitely.
Okay, now let's kind of move over to the offenses for the day. I think as far as Chicago against Pittsburgh goes, I'm more interested in the pitchers. There's not really anything offensively I'm going for in this game.
Same.
I also don't have a very good feel for where ownership is going to be for hitters in the day because a lot of the love is going to the LA-Toronto game, and that's going to have to go away.
Yep. There's also a lot of spots on this slate, even still with those games canceled.
All right, Boston against Baltimore. We have Pivetta against George Lopez. Yes, I know it's Jorge, but I like George better. Not that there's not guys on Baltimore that you couldn't like one off. You guys know we're big Santander fans. He homered again yesterday. Not really trying to go out of my way to get here. I do have some interest in some of the Boston bets, though.
Yeah, for sure. I think that they're definitely in play. Jorge Lopez is no good.
Yeah. So Devers is newly hot, and I believe he's homered in like his only at bats off of why can't I think of his name all of a sudden? Lopez. Like it's not a monster sample size, and I wouldn't go here if like he hadn't been playing well, but he's faced him 3 times. Walk and 2 homers. So he's feeling good back-to-back days with homers already. Multiple hits 3 out of the last 4 days. I could get on board with Devers today for sure.
Yep, talked about him yesterday, and yeah, definitely 4 out of his last 8. I mean, he's really good too. So
yeah, that always helps, right?
If you're looking at Boston, he's one of the top pieces.
Yeah, he would be my favorite piece from Boston as of today. Our boy JD was out yesterday with an illness. Probably a good opportunity for him not to play again today. Verdugo, catalyst on top of the lineup. I could do like a Verdugo Devers, be interested. And then Christian Vasquez, I mean, I don't know, not much yesterday, but this guy's been raking to start the year.
Yeah, yes. I mean, the power speed upside's still obviously real there.
Yeah, you can fill her in with Marwin Gonzalez or leave it at that. I wouldn't say it's like the best stack of all time, but the Devers play is my favorite, and I don't mind Vasquez or Verdugo.
It definitely takes a hit with no JD.
Yeah, and I don't expect him to play today. He could be a one-day illness. What's that?
He's on the COVID list.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Never mind then. My bad.
So I don't know what that's like for baseball, but he ain't playing today.
It's true. All right, next up, LA-Toronto. Like you said, we're going to skip this game. Looks like it's a very good chance of being postponed. Same thing goes with Miami against New York. We got Tampa taking on New York today, which is Montgomery versus the Waka-Honeywell combination. Waka's been a good pitcher at times, but he did not look good in his first start.
I'll say this: Honeywell is legit. Like he is definitely not someone we want to pick on.
Okay.
Like I don't know how long he's going to pitch, but I mean he hasn't pitched an affiliated ball since 2017, which is pretty crazy. But he's got real good talent.
Okay. Got to imagine he's got a relatively short leash to.
Oh, I mean even Archer yesterday, he was pitching really well. I didn't even know he was like an opener. Only went 2 innings.
Yeah, he was out of there real quickly.
That kind of makes me scared of the Yankees stack a little bit. One, they're not hitting that well. You know, I like picking on Walker a lot, but the Rays, they're not going to use him like that deep, especially if he's not pitching well.
Understandable. And you're right. The Yankees have not been great to start the year. Judge looks good. You know, DJ LeMahieu looks all right. I can understand like a stack of the top 2 in this lineup, but I wasn't trying to go in on the Yankees today necessarily, not hard or anything like that.
I mean, I think we talked about it. You always can because they're the Yankees and they've got massive power. And I mean, Honeywell hasn't pitched in forever. Walker's no good. If you think they get to him today, I get it. But I don't think it's where I want to plant my flag.
And the same thing goes with the Rays for me. They've been playing a lot better the last couple of days. Rosarina looked good yesterday. I watched a bunch of his at-bats, a long home run out to center, a couple other hard hit balls. But I'm not trying to spend $5,300 for him against Jordan Montgomery.
No, probably not. For me, it's like the Yankees bullpen also. Like, probably not where I want to spend my money. They also did all their damage early yesterday. Didn't do anything over the last half of the game.
All right. Jose Urena versus Logan Allen. You're interested in Logan Allen, maybe more so than I am, but I think we can both agree. I ain't interested in the Detroit bats.
Nah, definitely not interested in the Detroit bats. And I think this is another situation where Cleveland gets a ton of love, especially with those games postponed. Do you agree?
I would say that's very logical. You know, cheap starter at the bottom. He got shelled in his first outing. I know Cleveland has had their moments the last couple of days where they put up a few runs. I'm thinking guys like Eddie Rosario at 4,300 probably get, a decent amount of attention despite not really playing well yet this year. I'm sure he'll be over-owned.
Fran Mill. Luplow had a really good game yesterday.
I was going to say Luplow GOAT. Big day yesterday.
Yeah, Fran Mill Reyes looks good. This is definitely not an offense I'm trying to get to like when they're popular, though. They're just not that good.
No, I mean, I understand. And Urena is another guy. That's one of his first start, but he's not a total gas can or anything.
He's like basically on the same level, not quite as good as Teheran.
Yeah, maybe not quite for as long, but I get your point, about the same level.
Like, I think it's just one of these things. People think he's like the worst of all time, and like I'm not going to be shocked if he pitches well here.
Not at all.
I said that about Teheran the other day. He ended up not pitching, but I also kind of like the cut of his jib. So, man, a Teheran Fulte or a Urena Fulte combo. I'll tell you, you can spend up on whatever bat you want then.
I mean, guy's been around for a while. He's a very mediocre pitcher.
Yeah,
he's had good seasons, right? Like he got 2 years. He's
a C pitcher, but he's hung around for a while. He's had good starts. You know who? And I don't know if this is right or wrong. And I'm not saying their stuff is alike, but you know who I think of when I think of him and how good he is right now and how he can have bad starts, good starts is Ivan Nova.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, you never feel good about it, but he can pitch well at times.
Definitely. All right, Mike Minor against Dylan Cease. Minor is one of the better pitchers on the slate overall, but I'm not interested. I just don't really throw lefties, especially 9,400 lefties who, they're not special against the Chicago White Sox.
Especially $9,400 lefties that have no business being $9,400 ever. I mean,
agreed.
That's just the fact of the matter. It'd be one thing if it were I know you, and you wouldn't even like Blake Snell at 9,400 in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's better without Tim Anderson around because he's the other guy that rakes off of lefties. But there's a big difference between Blake Snell and Mike Minor, in my opinion.
Massive difference. So I guess that was my point, is that even with a guy like Blake Snell, it wouldn't be some auto lock. So I like the White Sox bats more than Minor, but it's probably just a stay away spot.
All right, agreed. No arguments here. Next up, we got Dylan Cease, who is another guy who's, I don't know,
can't seem to put it together.
He's had moments at the major league level, and When I say moments, I mean some good ones and some bad ones.
I'm actually surprised he's not getting any love. People take so much weight into like how guys look their first start, though. I don't think he's an awful look.
No, he won't get much attention today.
Like opposite of Minor, I like him more than I like the Royals bats. Not saying I'd use either, but if I had to choose, I mean, it'd be him.
He's about a strikeout per inning guy. I know in 2019, his rookie year, if my memory serves me correctly, so maybe no is not the right word. Like you can see his ERA just a shade under 6, and that's not very good. But I feel like he got better as the season progressed. Am I wrong about that one?
I'm pretty sure you're correct on that.
And then last year he was decent, right? I mean, he 12 starts, solid, right? He walks a lot of guys.
He's got really good stuff. Like I said, he just can't seem to put it all together. That said, when the stuff is playing that day, like he could definitely be a top 2 scoring pitcher on this slate.
Gives up a decent number of home runs. I guess the other point is he's going up against a Royals team that, I don't know, they're not so scary. They have not been hitting the ball lately too either.
No, they haven't. They were like hot to start the year against Texas, and then it seems they've really cooled down.
Apparently, Michael Taylor isn't that dude all the time. Like he had a nice couple of games, and now we're back to reality.
Oh, he isn't the greatest hitter of all time?
Yeah, newsflash, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Cease is a bad play at all here. I mean, personally, when I was looking at this slate, I was looking at him over Ponce de Leon, like not even looking at ownership or anything.
Well, that's a big time ownership play there, right? Too. Like I understand the Ponce de Leon play. Just to like reiterate that one, I think he is the move in cash games. He is a high strikeout guy, and he's going to be really highly owned. Like I would not be surprised at all to see him over 50% in cash games.
I'm just saying, for me, like when I first popped open the slate, like he wasn't even a guy I really considered.
Yeah, he was really popular in the first slate too. I think he had the Marlins, right?
He had 14 DK points, or he might have had 17, and I'll eat some crow, but he definitely didn't do better than that.
15, right in the middle.
So right in the middle.
Yeah, he was at Miami, so I get it. And he was good. Not a lot of strikeouts, but those will come. And Milwaukee will strike out. They are a strikeout-prone team.
Yeah, this is not really the spot I want to pick on Milwaukee, though.
All right, so I feel like you told me you picked on flexing last time, and he flexed against you.
Sure did. Came from Japan, or Korea, excuse me, and he was really good in Korea. And again, I don't take that as oh, he's really good there, so he's going to be really good here. It's not like that direct correlation, but pitching with some confidence. He was really good over there. Obviously, he found something in himself. Seattle saw something in him. I don't know, man. I'm definitely not using him here, but it's just how much do you like Minnesota bats?
Yeah, I think that's the question. And even if you don't want to use Shoemaker, Seattle is just so uninspiring offensively. I know Haniger homered again yesterday. I can understand playing him as a little bit of a leverage play off a relatively popular Shoemaker, but I'll probably just ignore Seattle.
On a small slate, I could see getting to Seattle.
Yeah, Nelson Cruz is on my bad side because I pulled him from my lineup yesterday at the last minute to make a subtle move, and then of course he homered. I mean, he is hot to start the year. I'm not going out of my way to use him at 5,800 against a righty. We know how he mashes lefties, but he's a huge upside play every single day.
I can't imagine many people use him today.
No, he's such a big dude. You remember when he used to steal bases too? I know it's been a decade, but he was we're going to look this up. I want to say back when he was in Texas, I swear he had multiple 20 steal seasons.
He's been on a lot of teams.
Yeah, he started with my Brewers.
Sure did.
I mean, for 7 plate appearances.
Baltimore for that year. For some reason, I always remember that Baltimore year.
Okay, fine. He had 2 years where he swiped 20 and 17 in back-to-back seasons, and that is half of his career stolen bases right there.
So you had asked me if I thought Cruz ever had a 20 stolen base season. I would have said definitely not.
Well, I knew he did, so I would have said yes, but I thought it was more than that. So if I would have probably said 2 of them and been wrong. So we'll meet in the middle right there. Man, I wouldn't have thought this. He's probably going to get to 500 career home runs.
Yeah, he's become a interesting Hall of Fame case.
Yeah, he won't get it because he's only played DH for so long and because of the steroid thing, but
He's in the conversation.
All right, Buxton is a guy, 4,400, still hitting the ball all over the place. The thing about Buxton, with all these nice scores he's had, he still only has one stolen base on the year. Like, one of these days, he's going to pop off 2 or 3 of these. Maybe if he stops hitting for extra bases every time he hits the ball.
Definitely. Interesting that he didn't steal any yesterday when he went 2 for 4 with 2 singles.
Yeah, I didn't watch. I don't know if there was anybody ahead of him or anything like that. I just didn't watch that game. They got Garlick, who is also hitting the ball and has been hitting in the 2-hole a few times. So you might get some cap space there. Like, I'm not jumping in with 2 feet on the Twins, but Cruz at low ownership, high upside. Buxton, Garlick. I'm fine with like a mini stack on this one.
Well, just like I said earlier, people overreact on pitchers who did not pitch well in their first start. I don't want to overreact on flex and pitching well. The Twins are much better than the Giants, so they're in consideration for me here.
Agreed. I do like the top of their order. Garlick, Buxton, Cruz.
I don't think Garlick will be in there against a righty, but I'm not sure.
Okay. They're missing a few guys, so I don't know if they've moved things around. You might get Jake Cave.
Yep.
Who's also really cheap, but he's out there for you. So Minnesota's an offense I'm intrigued by, but not one where I'm like, dude, this is the stack of the day. You got to jump in here 2 feet, no questions.
2 guys I always used to confuse were Byron Buxton and Keon Broxton, and I guess the Twins now have Keon Broxton too.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Like, that's one of those things. Like, Keon Broxton, he hit 30 home runs for the Brewers like 4 years ago.
That's so baseball, right? Like, how about what's his name? He also played for the Brewers, like the first baseman who had a big power. Not Prince Fielder.
Richie Sexton.
No, that's not Richie Sexton. He led the.
Chris Carter?
Yes, Chris Carter. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He led the NL in homers. He's not even in baseball anymore.
All right, guys. So as far as the Brewers go, I'm intrigued by the leverage stack right here. Again, they look good yesterday. Doesn't mean they'll look good today. But you got Avi Garcia at 2,900. Monster home run yesterday. Just destroyed that ball. This is a guy that they expect big things out of this year. He lost 25 pounds in the offseason, looking slim and trim. He's still a monster dude at 6'5", huge power. Never really put it together for a full season, but you can get him in the middle of the lineup at 2,900. Christian Yelich is showing signs of being that dude again, starting to slap the ball all over. The power's coming. He's another guy. He'll steal bases when given the opportunities. A couple nice games recently. And then I mentioned Hira yesterday. Now, he's faced Ponce de Leon 5 times and struck out 4 times. I don't love that, but it's a small sample size. And he really started to feel it the last couple of days. This guy has been running into very bad luck for a lot of this year. And then yesterday, 4 balls with an exit velo over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, great call right there. I know you messaged me about that yesterday. If I'm using some Milwaukee, he's definitely in there.
No doubt about it. And Travis Shaw is having a nice start to the year as well, getting key hits in good situations. So I'm probably not all in on Milwaukee today, but they're going to be way too low owned today, at least outside of Yelich, courtesy of the fact that Ponce de Leon is going to be so popular.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they have some weak parts of their lineup. Side note, did you see Daniel Robertson's double yesterday?
Did not.
It literally ignored the laws of physics. It hit the middle of the outfield wall and somehow bounced over. He was confused. The umps were confused. Every player was confused. The announcers are confused. I don't know how that's possible. We need to get some sort of physics expert in here to explain how a ball can bounce in that direction.
That's bizarre. Now
it was so bizarre.
I'm going to watch it after our video.
Okay, I was confused by it. And then Narvaez is the other guy, assuming he's in the lineup today, is swinging a nice bat to start the year. This is the reason they went and got him last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I'm not jumping in with 2 feet on Milwaukee. If I ran a 3-entry max today, I wouldn't stack them 3 times, but I'm interested.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And then the flip side of that, on the Cardinals side of the thing, probably not going to get enough ownership today. If you want to give me the 1-2 punch of Goldie and Nolan Arenado against Anderson, I'm real interested. These guys can both hit lefties very effectively. Arenado has put together some solid at-bats in the series, a couple of extra base hits. I think they both got good numbers off of Anderson as well. Goldschmidt, 10-18, I'd call that good. And Nolan Arenado, 6-15 with a couple of bombs.
I would call that pretty damn good for both of them.
I mean 10 and 18 is spectacular. That's enough of a BVP. I put some stock in that.
They're hitting 500 off of him.
Yeah. 4 walks to 1 strikeout. He clearly sees the ball. And Goldschmidt is both of these guys have a full career of just destroying the Brewers.
And left-handed pitching in general.
Yeah. I don't need to go any deeper. Not that there aren't other guys in play if you want to go with a Carlson or DeYoung or whatever you're talking about. But like for those two guys, real interested.
Agreed.
You know, you got Tommy Edman on top of the lineup too, who's getting on base and setting the table. He just missed a couple of big hits yesterday as well. So like I could do some offense from this game, and I think it would be a low round. Now it's not a great ballpark for hitting, but it's one day.
For sure. No doubt about all that.
Okay. San Diego, Texas. You know, as much as we talked about, we like the idea of Fultonevich, I also can completely understand the stack against him.
Oh, of course. Of course.
God, how do you not just pronounce his name Moron?
Morejon.
I like Moron better. If I were to play anybody from Texas, it's a guy who did me real well last night, it'd be Kiner Falefa.
He was awesome.
So, I don't know. Outside of that, like I know we liked the idea of Texas yesterday. They scored a few runs, but not where I'm trying to go. Trent Grisham will be popular today.
I think Morejon's more in play than Texas.
Look, we'll pick our spots with Texas a couple times this year, but we're rarely going to really like them.
For sure.
And yesterday we kind of liked them. They were meh.
Yeah, they weren't very good. Kiner Falefa was like the only one that was good.
Yeah. Trent Grisham seems like a solid play for cash games. And if you like them, play them anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else from this game sticking out to you?
No. I think I definitely like the pitching more than I like the hitting in that game.
San Diego had limited experience against Fulte. It's fine, but it's not enough to really read anything into.
No, it's really not.
So, okay. Just kind of a recap. Gun to head. You're making one lineup today. Who are your pitchers? And you obviously reserve the right to change that.
Definitely Fulte.
Okay. I liked it. And that's, again, you're willing to make the ballsy plays. And on days where chalk is bad and you make those ballsy plays and work, that's when you get those $50,000 wins. But for those of you who are more conservative, if you don't want to go there, we understand. But that's the difference between how like you and I play and a lot of you guys play.
For sure. So then honestly, I like Logan Allen a lot. Talked about him. Probably Logan Allen. Logan Allen, Fulte. And then also kind of intrigued by Urena.
Understandable.
Like, he got really, now that I'm thinking about that too, I watched a bunch of that start against Minnesota. Got killed by awful defense. Like, not necessarily errors, just like bad plays. Oh, God. Man. The bats you can get with Fulte and Urena are pretty solid. I'll say that. Like, that's not even a situation where I'd stack. I'd just use the best bats.
I do think the chalk build today, guys, will be Ponce de Leon and Shoemaker. And if you're playing cash games, it's not a bad build. I mean, think about the offensive flexibility this gives you.
Mm-hmm.
So you got that right there. You can roll over to your outfield. You can get him. Well, Trout won't be in play, but you can get yourself a Nelson Cruz if you wanted him. You probably don't like Christian Yelich if you're using Ponce de Leon, but if you're not, I do like Yelich again today. He's really starting to look like that dude again, and the power is going to show up one of these days soon.
Definitely, man. I like the 3 big bats from that game: Arenado, Goldschmidt, and Yelich.
Yeah, so let's just say you did this. Like, you can play a chalky Shoemaker. Well, you can play 2 chalky guys and then grab a Pivetta or a Fulte, for example. And again, this is a very alternative GPP-only type of a build for people. But, you know the problem here? This is what annoys me. The 2 guys I like from this game, Goldie and Here, are both only first base eligible.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot Here lost his second base eligibility. That's a real smack in the nuts right there.
So who do you like more?
GPP's Hero. More replicability, probably Goldschmidt. You know what? Just go give me Hero. I liked it. I saw it yesterday. I'm going to ride what looks like a guy locking in. A very typical streaky hitter.
Thinking that too. The more I think about it, like, I definitely like Milwaukee more than St. Louis offense.
Yeah, for St. Louis, for me, it's Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado. Like, if you want to throw an Edman, go ahead, but I have no interest in the rest of the lineup.
I don't disagree with that.
So, I don't know, guys. I think that gives you a pretty good outline of what we're looking at today. You got to get to writing. I'll get this thing obviously out, and if you're watching this, you know that's already happened. Trevor Williams is the other guy I do have some passing interest in as well.
Yeah, we talked about pitchers from that game. It's looking like for me, I'm going to spend down a little bit. Just load up on bats. One of those type of days.
Look, yeah.
And you can definitely do that. I mean, there are, like we talked about, it's easy to build a roster with expensive pitching, but it's also like you can use cheaper pitchers and expensive hitters. It's just not the most optimal way to build right now.
We're starting to get into the portion of the season where the bat prices are going up. In the beginning of the year, when it's like, yeah, I'm going to pay 10-1 for DeGrom and 9-9 for Scherzer. Why am I trying to get cheap when I can build an offense around two of the best pitchers of all time?
When now, like, he's 2K.
Yeah, but now all of a sudden, we got Jordan Montgomery who threw 73 pitches in his first outing as 10K, right. And that's your
exactly. I do like how they price this, like pitchers are price slate dependent. So Montgomery could be 9-9 today and then 7,700 next slate. He just should never be 9-9. That's a pricing error. Like him and mine are just too expensive.
It doesn't make sense that him and Ponce de Leon or whoever you're looking at down there have that big of a pricing discrepancy.
For sure. I mean, projections have Ponce de Leon scoring more.
There you go. All right, guys. Good luck today. Go win yourself some money. We'll see you for some NBA in about an hour.
Thanks, guys.